At least 8 workers were killed and 6 others injured in one of the deadliest industrial accidents in recent years after a catastrophic incident at the Visakhapatnam steel plant on Monday. But what exactly happened inside the plant? How did molten steel heated to nearly 1600 degrees Celsius end up on the shop floor? And why are trade unions now alleging that the tragedy may have been preventable? Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Sama Kadil and here's what we know so far. The accident took place at the Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited or RINL facility, better known as the Visakhapatnam steel plant. According to the Union Ministry of Steel, operations were underway at Castor 2 inside Steel Melt Shop 1 when the incident occurred. Workers were in the process of transferring molten steel from a ladle to a tun dish, a critical step in the steel casting process. However, before the slide gate could be opened, a sudden and severe explosion took place. The Steel Ministry says the explosion was immediately followed by a massive ball of fire that shot up towards the ceiling of the facility. Moments later, overhead crane 2, which was carrying the ladle filled with molten steel, caught fire. What happened next proved fatal. The crane reportedly failed, causing the ladle to collapse and spill its content on the shop floor below. The ladle was carrying molten steel heated to temperatures between 1500 to 1600 degrees Celsius. To put that into perspective, that is hot enough to melt most metals and instantly ignite surrounding materials. Several workers were directly underneath or near the area when the molten steel came crashing down. Many of them had little or no chance to escape. Officials say several workers were burned alive. Among the 8 victims were 5 permanent employees of the steel plant and 3 contract workers. 6 others sustained injuries and were rushed to nearby hospitals. Authorities say their condition is currently stable. The death toll could have been even higher. According to workers who survived the incident, at least 12 employees had moved away from the immediate area just moments before the explosion and narrowly escaped. Several survivors later told investigators that they first heard what sounded like a loud blast before flames engulfed the shop floor. However, investigators are still trying to determine exactly what caused the sound. One police officer involved in the preliminary inquiry suggested what workers perceived as an explosion may actually have been the crane structure snapping under stress before collapsing. At this stage, authorities have not confirmed the exact sequence of events, and that is where the investigation begins. While the Steel Ministry has described the incident as a sudden explosion, workers' unions are raising a different set of questions. Union leaders claim that molten steel leaks from ladles had occurred repeatedly in recent months. Some workers allege that there have been more than 24 such incidents in the last 2 months alone. According to union representatives, those earlier incidents did not result in major casualties, but they may have pointed to deeper safety concerns within the plant. Some workers have also alleged that poor quality chemicals used during steel processing could have triggered a chemical reaction that led to the blast. At present, however, there is no official confirmation supporting these claims. Trade unions are also pointing to what they describe as long-standing issues involving aging machinery, manpower shortages, and inadequate maintenance. Leaders of the Centre of India Trade Unions or CITU and the CPM have argued that workers and engineers have repeatedly raised concerns about equipment upgrades and staffing levels. They claim those warnings were not adequately addressed. The unions have therefore rejected the idea of relying solely on an internal inquiry. Instead, they are demanding an independent investigation involving metallurgical experts, retired industry specialists, and technical institutions. The government, meanwhile, has already initiated multiple probes. Apart from the inquiry launched by RINL itself, the Union Ministry of Steel has constituted a 3-member external investigation committee. The panel will be headed by the director in charge of Bokaro Steel Plant and is expected to independently examine the causes of the accident. As the investigation continues, attention has also shifted to compensation and accountability. During a visit to Visakhapatnam's King George Hospital, Andhra Pradesh Minister Nara Lokesh faced demands from left leaders and trade unions seeking compensation of 1 crore rupees for the families of each deceased worker. The state government has so far announced compensation of 25 lakh rupees. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also expressed condolences over the tragedy and announced ex gratia assistance from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund. Under the announcement, the next of kin of each deceased worker will receive 2 lakh rupees, while the injured workers will receive 50,000 rupees. The Prime Minister posted on X, saddened by the mishap at the Visakhapatnam steel plant, condolences to those who have lost their loved ones, praying that the injured recover at the earliest. The local authorities are providing all possible assistance to those affected. For now, however, the biggest question remains unanswered. What caused the explosion? Was it a sudden mechanical failure, a structural collapse, a chemical reaction, or were there warning signs that were missed before the tragedy struck? The answers will likely emerge only after the various investigations are completed. Thank you for watching. For more such updates, keep following The Print.